Winston Urban Renewal Agency, April 16th, 2026, 5:30.
United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, everybody. Roll call. Mr. Wiggins. Here. Ms. Newsom.
Yes, here.
Ms. White.
Here.
Mr. Cunningham.
Present.
And Mr. Hobson's here. Adjustments to the agenda, Thomas.
None, Mr. President.
Thank you. Okay, approval of minutes for March 19th, 2026. Do I have a motion?
I make a motion to approve the minutes from March 19th, 2026.
Okay, moved and seconded to approve the minutes of March 19th. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Anyone wishing to discuss items not on this agenda is welcome to address the Urban Renewal Agency Board as a whole. State your name and address for the record. Each speaker will be given a maximum of 3 minutes. Speakers may not be paid, intimidate, or use profanity or personal affronts. The board reserves the right to delay action until they have full information on the issue. Anybody want to address the board? Thank you. New business, resolution number 26054, Red Barn Dispensary Facade Grant Agreement. Read by title only, Ms. Harvey.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good evening, everyone. Resolution number 26-054, a resolution of the Urban Renewal Agency of the City of Winston, Oregon Board authorizing the Executive Director to enter into an agreement for a facade grant with Red Barn Dispensary for an amount not to exceed $10,000.
Thank you, Ms. Harvey. Staff report, Dr. McIntosh.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. Good evening, members of the audience. So the facade grant before you, of course, you are familiar how the program works. It's a $10,000 reimbursement platform. So essentially the applicant or client has to show receipts. And by virtue of those receipts, it has to show a total of $20,000 and you would reimburse half. Now there has to be a clear nexus to aesthetics, improving aesthetics in terms of the facade. So the gentleman submitted and produced a number of different reports that would fit that criteria and pass muster. You can plainly see on the building, it's been transformed in a significant regard. It's been beautified and perfected. And personally, I'm really glad that this location was chosen because it was one of the buildings that's been kind of hanging around there for some years. And so it's nice to see the change there. So staff is in full support of approval of the facade grant before you. Happy to take any questions.
Thank you, Thomas. Any questions from the council? Or excuse me, from the board. It's not council, it's board.
I will have to say one thing, which probably doesn't do anything with this, but that tractor you have, my dad was an International Harvester dealer, and I've driven those tractors.
Oh, well, that one runs. So.
We know who to call.
Any comments from the audience? Okay,
Come on.
go ahead. You want to
So
come up and introduce yourself?
So regardless, I showed up tonight. I had blood. I was tipped off. Thank you, Thomas. Anyway, I showed up tonight. I just want to say thank you guys for running this program. It's been a long road to haul for anybody that does that sort of remodel or even any portion of that. So this is really nice and it eases the pain a little bit. So bravo to you guys, and I think it's a way, to continue to improve your community and get people excited to do things. So quick little update on how we're doing there. I was just telling Thomas, so this is number 7, as some of you know, our 7th dispo, and we're averaging right now, I was just told, and they didn't have the math in front of them, but approximately 115, 120 transactions a day. That is as good or better than all other 6 dispensaries at their startup. So,
And a lot of people from a lot of places come.
so knock on wood, we all hit a home run,
Yeah.
the city, and obviously it seems like it might have been needed, and so let's hope it continues to go well for everybody, the city and us. Thank you.
Thank
Just a
you,
quick
Todd.
question.
You bet.
Can you take Visa, MasterCard, or anything like that now, or is that still taboo?
Well, it's interesting, and it's a little more than a yes or no answer. I'll be quick. Right now, we are able to debit only, not charge. And the rest of that story is way back in 17, 18, everybody started coming out, oh, you can do these debit things. And we tried a few of them, and then a few days later, somebody's Wells card didn't work. A few days later, somebody's B of A card didn't work. A few days later, somebody's Umpqua card didn't work. And so we finally, Red Barn, because people would get mad then when they came back in, and it's like, what do you mean I can't use my debit card? So we finally just quit for several years, and then a few years ago, Madison, who you all met, she was in Colorado at one of the cannabis conventions, and she got sold on a particular company that said they could pull it off. And we have had this existing system now for a couple of years, being able to accept most debit cards. So if you walk in there and say, I want to pay with a debit card, you should be able to.
Mm-hmm. Well, there's one thing I did notice about your store is the only time, you don't have an ATM in there.
No, we do, actually. You missed it.
Oh, I did?
Yeah.
Okay.
We have an ATM in each one. Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, usually you have to go in and, oh no, we don't take that. You have to go over to the ATM,
Yeah.
get your cash, and go up and.
Yeah. I'll say this, a little whatever. We've never thought the ATM was a way to make money. Like
No.
most people that have ATMs, we charge the absolute bare minimum that we are legally allowed to charge, which I think is $1.50. And as all of you know, I'm sure most of them are, I think, $3.50 or
They keep going up.
plus now. And so we actually, in Myrtle Creek for sure, and I think up at Gateway and Thurston, I know of people that will come into our stores, whether they're going to purchase anything or not, but they'll just come in and get cash because it's cheaper than going to XYZ ATM. So, anyway,
Thank you for having
Thank
the
you all.
community.
Todd, may I ask a question, please?
you bet.
Just real quick. You said number 7. Does that mean 7 dispensaries opened?
Yes.
Red Barn dispensaries open?
Yeah.
And then I just had one other quick question.
You bet.
How's the drive-through going? Then?
It is. It's slow to take. That's a totally new thing for
But people are using
for
it.
the state, let alone Southern Oregon. Like I think I mentioned, this was number 3 or 4 in this state, and so it's going to take people a little while to get through that. But we're really tickled because we are getting a handful of people today. I think I'm going to say 3 to 7 is about what we're
really?
averaging at the moment. So.
Once they find out it's there and they can
Let me-
use it, I think
Yeah.
it's a big deal.
Yeah.
It's not,
And we still have the OLCC regs, of course, which we're always going to follow. So you can't pull up like Wendy's and just say, I want this and this and this. You got to get on your phone, order ahead, or go online at home and order ahead, and then you pull in. So it's basically a pickup window.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's hard to discern that between drive-through or whatever, but it's a pickup window. So if people order ahead, they pull up and say, "Hey, I'm Joe. I made that order an hour and a half ago, 45 minutes ago, whatever the case may be." We go, "Oh, here's your order. We see your ID, etc., etc." And we go from there.
Okay.
So, thank you.
So
all.
you have a website?
Yes, we do. And I'm not the super techie guy, but so there is a Red Barn Cannabis out there, which is kind of, just so y'all know, which you've seen, some of you have seen on my business cards and my email, which is it's kind of an umbrella.
Yeah.
And then, but under that, we have about 16 other businesses, 13 of them being OLCC licensed businesses, and about 9 or 10 of those are all dispensary licenses. So, and they have a website, redbarndispensary.com. If you go on there, it's pretty cool because right up front it shows each location, and there's a nice little shot of the aesthetics of each location. So I'm really proud of that.
I didn't know that.
We try to stay up on that.
This is the only drive-through that you have, though.
Correct, it is. Yeah,
None of your other dispensaries have a drive-through.
yeah, we've tried it. Stevens Street in Roseburg, the old Hobie Saw Shop. Matter of fact, we purchased the TP Tavern next door, and it had that old laundromat. We tore that down and did some stuff, but so far Roseburg hasn't gotten on board with it. So we also have the ability in Springfield, a few other places, if the towns ever come around. So I think it was a wise thing that you guys did it. So.
We're future looking.
Pioneers.
You guys are.
So Todd, sorry, one more question. For inundating. And I apologize if this is thick into the financial diligence, but some of the other cities, this is your 7th store. The other cities, how do you submit your, report in arrears? Because you're paying in arrears on the 3% tax. Do you submit
Correct,
a line item list?
and I'm not exactly sure, Thomas. It sounds like we need to have a conversation about that. What we're doing here exactly. Now, I'm going to say that I'm not 100% sure about this, but I think all of them now we make a payment to Salem, and then you guys get a check back.
Okay.
Now they're probably taking a handling fee out of that, so that's not maybe the coolest thing to do, especially being we're so close to you and all that.
Yeah, well, I mean,
Easy to keep tabs on us.
we'd like to cut them out if we can.
Absolutely, I couldn't agree more. You know, when I first started this, before there was absolutely any banking, we were driving up and down the freeway with cash and going in. Like, they built a big new wing up at ODR.
Yeah.
And you would go in there and you'd stand in line. And it was crazy. Like, I got to know people, and it's like, where are you from? Seriously, there's a guy I got to know several times. He's like, I just drove here from Joseph.
Yeah. Oh, good God.
Joseph.
Yeah.
And he was driving cash once a month to pay his cannabis tax.
Yeah.
All over the state. You'd see him there. Boom, boom, boom. Anyway, fortunately now we have MAPS Credit Union. Multnomah and Polk County is what MAPS stands for, MAPS. And then we have Salal Credit Union out of Seattle. And so we're able to kind of bank like most people would bank or most businesses bank. But it's still a challenge.
Well, I just wondered the process, because we have several different processes, whether it's transient room tax or whatnot. Folks submit a report with it, and
Right.
and if Salem wants to do a handling fee, they don't have to handle it. I mean, we
That's
can
right,
handle it.
and we've got no problem. And I will say this, which I think I told you guys one other time, but we continue to do it, and we may still be doing it. I'm just unaware of it, if we are. But when Myrtle Point first allowed us to get going, they had not passed the We Want Cannabis tax yet. They had said, we're okay with the exact opposite of what Winston was saying.
Yeah.
We're okay with dispose, but they hadn't passed the We Want Cannabis tax yet. And so in that case, I told them, hey, we'll get going and I'll just give you a donation every month. And I always remember walking into City Hall. Darren is the city administrator over there, and he looked at me and he said, "You were serious?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm serious." Anyway, aside from that, that kept going, and it may still be going. I'm unaware. I'd have to talk to the main office. I don't believe we're sending it to them direct now. I think we're going through the state, and I don't know what would have triggered that. But prior to that, we were delivering a check to them every month, hand delivering it.
So
I
Darren
don't trust the mail.
Darren works for Civil West now, and he just
Are
did,
you kidding me?
He just did our wastewater master plan, and he tells that story the
interesting.
exact same way.
Oh, he does?
That he didn't know if you guys were serious, and then when you came in,
Yeah.
it's just to be able to support and pay that tax before.
Well,
it was
cool. I'm
actually
glad he went
passed.
to work for Civil West.
Yes.
So you guys got Civil West, Will Dawson.
Yeah.
You guys got a good guy.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So
And the building looks great.
It
Thank
does,
you.
it looks
Thank all of
fabulous.
you.
Yeah.
And you all know I usually stick around for the entirety of the meeting, but I may sneak out in a minute. I've got a 13-hour drive in front of me.
There you go. Drive safe, John.
Drive safe.
I don't think John here would do better.
No,
You wouldn't,
we would not.
International Harvester is the best.
Any
Have a
other,
fight up
any
here.
other questions? Okay.
Any other questions?
Yeah. Council act, or excuse me, board action. Do
I
have
make a motion to accept resolution, what am I thinking? Resolution number 26-054.
Second. It's moved and seconded to adopt resolution 26054 as presented. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Okay. Next item on the agenda is our report, or actually action item from our Winston City newsletter.
Thank you, John.
Mr. Johnson.
Well, that's what this is, okay.
Good evening.
Yeah.
You all know who I am, I think. Steve Johnson, 318 Northwest Stevens Street. I came here this evening to talk to you about our newsletter and what we might want to do for next year, for next fiscal year. The newsletter apparently is becoming quite a success in the neighborhood. I think it's been an interesting thing for me getting into it. Over the past year or so, since we started doing this in the manner we're doing now with the support of your organization, we've had a few difficulties here and there, things that we got through. Some of it might have been attributed to the problems we had with the United States Postal Service, getting that particular delivery system set up. And some of it was due to development problems with the product, making it more readable, making it more appealing to people, trying to get a better feel for it so it came out. And others, things that we got into was basically a learning curve for all of the individuals involved, myself included. In preparing for next year, I did some research to try and assure that we were getting everybody in the city into the distribution system. That led me, and the fact that one other counselor, one of your agents here, your board members here, does not get the newsletter delivered to her house. Okay. The interesting part about that is that there's 355 other houses within the city limits that don't get one either. And here's a map of the areas that do not receive news in their mail service.
Again, why?
I'll explain that. The 97496 zip code consists of, on the delivery side, 6 routes throughout the area. 4 of them are inside the city limits. 2 of them are considered rural. And what has happened over the years is that certain places within each one of those routes has developed into the extension, the are no longer just rural. They do have places within the city, as indicated on this map. The entire section of town, right over there, 165 houses, 195 houses, does not get a delivery for our newsletter at this time. In addition to that, there's 150 some out on Brock Lake that don't get one either, including all up the hill on both sides of Looking Glass. The delivery for those two housings areas are in the rural routes for the post office. We opted at the time that we set this up originally, to just do the 4 routes that are in the city, or labeled as in the city, unbeknownst to myself.
Who would know that? I said, who would know that?
I didn't know that.
I didn't know that.
I didn't either.
You're,
Well, thanks to this one, that's part of what I discovered. So, in trying to figure out how we were going to get newsletters to those individuals, I came up with a couple of different plans. We can go with plan 1, which is just continue as we have it. Right? We're printing 2,700 copies every week or every month, and we're delivering around 2,700 plus. Last month it was 2,702. Back in November it was 2,777. The numbers go up and down, mainly because the boxes in the post office go up and down as far as occupancy goes.
yeah, I'm getting the.
There are additional addresses added every now and then. So we're not reaching those people. So I have some possibilities here to present for fiscal year 26-27. First of all, I'd like to make this as simple as we can, and that would be just to include the other 2 additional routes in our delivery program. But that gets a little expensive. That raises the number as of this moment, it raises the number of boxes, or the number of drops, as the post office calls them, to 3,656. That would mean we would be printing 3,700 copies every month. The mailing would go up to $914 a month. The printing costs would go up to $1,924 a month for 3,700 copies. Grand total monthly is $2,838. That equates to $34,056 a year. If the agency is going to continue to fund this program into next year, I would be asking for about $38,000 to continue. Now, the other option, of course, is that we can set up a mailing system so we just get to those 355 drops. In so doing, and investigating that, I got an actual mailing list from the post office of all of those people within the 2 rural routes that are inside the city limits. Okay, so we would be then printing an additional 355 copies every month. And the problem with that one is we'll have to use the city's permit to mail them, because they will have each newsletter will be individually addressed to that drop. Now, that's not impossible to do because our printers are a really great place. We have a really good relationship with them. And by supplying them with a spreadsheet with all the addresses on it, they will individually print each newsletter with an address. It has to be the changes have to be made to it, and I forgot my demonstration pieces. instead of a single fold of or 8.5 by 14 paper, it'll have to be folded twice down to a letter
A
size.
trifold.
Yeah, well, no, it's just two folds. The machine that they have at the printers will not do a trifold. It'll only do a flat fold. So it would be double folded, and it would look like a letter, about the size of the letter. That's a requirement for the permit, to use the permit by the Postal Service. So the 355 would have to come in here. What do they call it? Fiducia, the symbol that goes on it would require one of your employees here to fill out the proper paperwork and get them over to the post office. That would raise our prices, our per unit price from $20 to another $7,000 to a $7,000 price tag
$720.
over
Yeah.
what we're additionally spending at 28. So the difference is
Big. But
$2,800. Actually, the difference isn't a whole lot. It's $2,800 one way and $2,800 the other on a monthly basis. But the complexity of trying to get those things all printed and the extra paperwork, I would hope that you wouldn't go along and we just include the other two routes.
Plan B. And B.
Yep. Now, one of the things that's been so interesting about this is that the postal count of delivery count for the routes changes on a monthly basis, sometimes weekly. So the postage goes up and down a little bit. And so to cover that within the $38,000 we're talking about for just increasing the delivery amounts of the paper, I've added a little buffer in there. to
Yeah,
take
yeah,
care of
that's-
any things. If we continue with the program in this fashion, and it's beginning to look more and more on a monthly basis like we're gonna need more room. We're gonna need a bigger document, because we're just running out of space for all the things that people want to talk or put in there. Or even the community side of it, we keep getting more and more requests for space. And May's turned out to be really tight. And it's just beginning of summer. Activities are just starting. We're trying to include as much of the activities within the city as we can ahead of time, so people know the first of the month what's going on during the month. So far, I think we're doing pretty good at it, even though it's turned into something that I had no idea it would be when I started 2 years ago.
welcome.
You've put in a lot of work. And
Yes,
it's very
and
greatly
we
appreciated by
appreciate it.
everybody that's received it.
Definitely.
So I'm asking you that we would start this program in August. The first edition under this program would be in August, that would be put out. That mailing would actually be in July. Okay? So after the first of the year, we can put it in next year's budget for you guys and go from there.
Mr. Chairman and members of the board,
Any questions?
Your name.
Go ahead.
I appreciate Steve's adherence to finding this issue, because the newsletter is becoming very popular. It is and we have people outside of the city limits asking for copies, so we always put it on our website. But we want the folks in the city, we want everybody in the city to be receiving it. And I was a little appalled to hear that we actually have a council member that's being left off of
You
there.
got a whole bunch of people that,
Yeah, 355 people that are being left out, and I've got some on the western side of Brockway. I mean, I had some neighbors where no wonder they didn't know what I was talking about, right?
Yeah.
That's so. But there is one thing that we want to make sure that, in order to manage expectations, our staff here are stretched pretty thin.
Already, that's what
So-
I was thinking.
So I mean, I want to make that clear because I see that every day. We want to assist, we want to do what we can, but I think the cleanest way to do it is just to add the additional 2
Yeah.
routes. And you get some people outside the city too. You get to inundate more people with good Winston news.
Mhm.
Well, the other thing on that too is by including the people that's outside of the city. When you got community events and everything coming up that they would be interested in. And so therefore they'd be coming to the city and maybe helping the businesses indirectly. So to me, that's a no-brainer. Plan B, which you suggest, is probably the best way to go.
We have a number of organizations that are really seeking assistance. Riverbend Live being one of the principal ones. They've got turnover, and sometimes those individuals that might want to come in and take over board positions are not necessarily in the city. We got to be able to reach them and provide the information. They don't always go to our website. We put every issue on our website. It's new; they're all there. So we do have a presence there. But our recommendation from staff is to look at maybe just tacking on the additional 2 routes, and we will factor that into our URA budget. Now, one question I do have, you mentioned 38, your 5% contingency here, that option would put you at 35,500.
Right.
Is there a difference in the amount? Because you mentioned you'd be asking for 38,000. It says 35,500 here.
Yes, in redoing my math,
Okay.
the numbers come out to 34,056 for 12 months at that rate, and I added a 10% contingency
For the ups and downs?
for the up and downs that are going on, and also to maybe cover on upcoming paper costs. The particular format we're using right now, the paper is actually cut for us to that size.
Oh, nice.
Yes.
Wow.
It increased per copy of about 10 cents, but it gives us a whole lot better.
Yeah, that's nice, and it's good sturdy
Mhm.
paper that's not gonna rip up really easy.
Steve did bring the 2 issues down when we had discussed it previously. He brought the additional issue to where the second fold would have to take place, and I apologize for being candid, but it first struck me as maybe a child got a hold of it. So I think our fold that we have now is
I like
a
it.
really good
Yeah.
format, very condusive to.
If we need to go in the future to more space, to get more paper space, there's another form of the paper that is 11 by 17.
Oh,
Essentially
that's
folds in half and makes an 8.5 by 11. And it also functions within the delivery system without any changes whatsoever. So we can go to that size, or we can cut a special size of paper in some place in between, depending upon how much room we need. As I
Oh,
said,
17, that's a
the,
good size.
I think the more that you do that, the more that people are gonna wanna know and wanna keep up to date with what's going on. Right now, they don't know.
It's gonna get out there. It's starting to get around. People are asking about it, so.
Yeah.
one of the side notes that I'd like to bring to you is that when we added the mailbox, Winston News 97496 at Gmail,
Mm-hmm,
I started getting emails from people
mm-hmm.
in that box asking for information. I've had 3 now, or 4 as of today, asking questions about what goes on. They saw this happen. One of them in particular was the President's Day flag event. A lady wrote, said, why were there flags up? Because one day we were here, on the day we put them up last time.
Yeah,
She said, why is there flags up all over town? And so I told her it was for that particular day, and that we would be doing it for. And I have had 4 phone calls, personal phone calls on my own phone, people asking me, how do I do this, or how do I get a hold of that? So it's getting out there, and
The
it's getting out there.
the information, man.
It's getting out there to people who aren't on the computer,
Yeah.
who aren't into that forum.
And there's a lot of us that are.
And there's a whole lot of people in this town that are in that
Yes, yes,
particular
they are.
state. So I think we're doing a good thing here.
Thank
and I'd
you.
like to very much continue it.
That won't go away from me either. Thank you.
Any more questions? Yeah, any other questions?
I think he's doing a wonderful job. I'm all for it.
I was just gonna say, you need some help, I'll help if I can. Folding or whatever.
The biggest thing is just gathering all the information and getting it prepared so that Shannon can get it all put in proper form. And she's doing a great job.
Yes, she is. Yes, she is. Thank you.
So our next step is to,
Just need a consensus that you're okay with including the additional routes, and then your action taking will actually be with the URA budget during the budget committee process. We will factor that in as a line item with the appropriate value.
Great.
Good.
so
Perfect.
we can, do we need a May meeting then to go ahead and have this?
No, not necessarily.
We're okay. with
Just a
what we're doing.
consensus this evening that you're okay with that option, and then when we go into our budget committee process, for the
It'll be
URA,
in there.
we will have a specific line item, and that'll be your chance to take action.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so our consensus, Dave, you ready?
Absolutely.
Dory?
Definitely.
Yes.
Yes, I am too.
Thank you so much.
Mr. Chairman, if I may, I do have one adjustment to the agenda. I apologize.
Oh.
Just a brief conversation about the Hurd trial, which you did attend. If we're able to just fill in the board, it is URA related.
Okay, go ahead.
Thank you.
Please.
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, members of the audience, on Wednesday at 1 p.m. here in this chamber, we had the trial that was long awaited. It was postponed several times for Mr. David Hurd on the corner. His auto repair or sales operation, if you will.
Sales.
Yeah, sales. Of course, you know this has been a little bit of a long haul. We started this back August of last year. The body of the council made the decision to revoke his business license. The council made that decision, also gave him additional time. The Planning Commission revoked the conditional use permit. We had the judge from Roseburg, Jason Mahan, come down. He did a wonderful job. And the URA board president can attest on this. He did attend for moral support, which we appreciated. Dana was called as a witness. We had our city attorney there. It was our prosecutor, Webb Kittinger, did a marvelous job. I was called as a witness. I sat there on the end where board member Wiggins is sitting. And we went through the process. Witnesses were called, and he was found guilty on all counts for all citations. So the next step is we have referred to the judge the abatement process. It's all ready. It's done by our city attorney, and so we just need the judge to sign it, which he probably will in short order. So the suggestion is, what fines are we going to do? We're not heavy on that. It's the abatements, and it's leaning the property for reclaiming the funding that we put in to abate the property. So we do have a local operation that can remove the cars and any inoperable vehicles, and then everything else, including the fence. The police has another organization that does those types of things. So we don't have a value for it. It's tough to know with those crews until they get on and they start doing the work.
What about all that car parts and stuff in the back behind that fence?
It's taking it out.
That has to be taken out.
Yep, the abatement process will be executing full compliance, indeed. So that is the goal, and I'm proud of our team. I'm proud of the council, the planning commission, everyone involved. It's a hard thing. It's been a very hard thing. So we got together and we kind of got it. We're almost over the finish line with this. Of course, Mr. Hurd is dealing with a significant amount of duress over it. It was very telling in the hearing, and certainly wanted to offer him any measure of sensitivity, but we are keepers of the code, and we follow what the code said. So just wanted to fill the URA in terms of trying to beautify and perfect that area and eliminate the blight that's there.
As long as there's zero cost to the city.
Well, eventually we will recollect our funding. We will have to hire crews to go in and clean. That's part of the abatement process.
Right, but then again, we need to have a zero cost to the city.
We will lien the property for all of our costs. And then, he'll have an opportunity to pay it. I think he's got 30 days along with the citations. But if not, then we'll file a lien on the property as we typically do with any other property.
And court costs is covered by him also?
Not necessarily. The court costs, there's no nexus, so that's not typically, it's a city triggered process. So we flushed it all the way out, and we're only allowed to abate for a cost on sending crews over there. Independent third party crews.
Okay, so in other words, how much is our court cost then?
I wouldn't be able to tell you that. That would be hard to know without pulling staff
And
time.
there's no way to recoup that?
Not that. So, which is
that
not typical.
specifically, but there's ways to get what we need.
Yeah, through fines, it could be a wash. We can fine him $250 a day, every day. We can certainly do that. We're gonna leave that at the discretion of our city prosecutor on the level and I guess the extreme measures of that. But it's the important thing is I know it'll be a little bit of a cost to the city. That's why we put that funding in that abatement line item. There's $25,000 in there. I doubt we'll need to use that, but we'll get it cleaned up and it'll look better.
Thomas, my reading of what the judge was, he wanted the city to give him what we expected out of him, and he was gonna take it in consideration for a week, wasn't it? Or
Yeah, it's a 7-day turnaround. He has
They
our,
turn around for what?
for his decision, or
He-
his.
he gave
Oh,
it.
for the judge.
Yeah, we have already given him
We have.
our recommendation. So Webb sent it early the next morning,
Okay.
and we responded back with concurrence
Okay.
on that.
Okay.
So we were swinging pretty quick. We're ready to kind of
Well, it's been going on for a long time, so.
A long time.
Yeah.
Long time.
Yeah, it is a real gut check in terms of the process because abatements are always some upfront cost to the city, whether we have to clear off really, really tall grass in the heat of the summer because we're afraid it's going to cause the whole block to burn down, or if it's a junkyard, whatever it might be. But we always have that leaning mechanism to recoup or cover our costs.
I think Rex Stevens was the mayor when we started working against that.
Hmm.
It's either Rex or Sharon.
Yeah.
That it's been that long.
Okay, thank you, Thomas. Any other questions? Any other comments? Okay, I'm going to adjourn the meeting.
Thank you. I get to go pick up.
I don't know.
Meeting adjourned 6:12.